Hey everyone, Brian Von VA back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today we're going to be talking about character flaws, not just any old flaw, but the greatest flaws that your characters ever had. And if you have one to share, please put it down in the comments below. Now let's jump right into what is your character's greatest character flaw. He, human rogue, thinks that if he ignores or represses his problems, past and or emotions long enough, they'll go away. I've mentioned him a few times on this sub, but here we go. He's a half minotaur, half centaur, but looks like a human. I like to have joke concepts, but take them really seriously. He comes from the melding of two tribes, and he was born for the purpose of being the prince that would unite them. Problem number one, he looks like a human, and his people never forgave him for that. He worked so hard to get their approval, even becoming a full-blown warrior at the age of 12, when the standard age for that was 16. But they refused to look past his appearance. He ran away at the age of 14 and has been living as a human ever since. He refuses to let anyone know he's really a hybrid, so for the longest time, only his adoptive father knew. Problem number two, he has a minotaur's disposition. He is passionate and primarily driven by emotion. He also happened to have inherited the fey creature type from the centaur. Fey creatures are defined by their emotions. Because he left his people when he was young, he was never properly taught how to properly manage these strong emotions. And now, on human standards, he is considered to have intermittent explosive disorder and must take medications to medically suppress it. He knows it's a problem, but does nothing to improve his unhealthy relationship with his emotions. Problem number three. Because he's so secretive and defensive of his past and who he really is, he can come across as not trusting even his loved ones. This caused a rift between him and the barbarian of the party when the secret came to light. Because he unabashedly lied to her face many times, she thought he was an elf because of his slightly pointed ears and kept asking about his race. He's been in a romantic relationship for 3 years, and one of their biggest couples conflicts is his paladin's boyfriend accusing him of not trusting him enough, and he, in return, calls him a hypocrite for still being in the closet. Problem number four. He doesn't just have a poor relationship with his emotions, he has a poor relationship with his heritage as well. Having been living as a human among mostly humans, he started unconsciously viewing humanity as the default, while also seeing his two components, Minotaur and Centaur, as monstrous. Although he doesn't fully realize it, he sees himself as a monster. And problem number five. He's self-aware of everything that is wrong with him. If he admitted that he wasn't okay, asked for help, and allowed himself emotional vulnerability, his quality of life and interpersonal relationships would probably all improve pretty much instantly. And he knows that. But he just won't. Because within his mind, a part of him is still that 14-year-old prince who was so desperate for his tribe's approval and validation that he didn't want any weakness to show. In a sense, he is his own big bad evil guy. Rebecca is a former heavy drinker, and not the fun type of life of the party type of drinker. The destroying your life type. After the disappearance and death of her younger sister, Rebecca turned to the bottle and drank her life away, only snapping out of it when literal divine intervention gave her a wake-up slap and she pulled herself together for the sake of revenge. She currently only drinks when alone and tries, not always successfully, to do so only sparingly. She never drinks in public and refuses all drinking offers, even from her friends, in part to keep from falling back on the habit, and partly because under that ice-cold facade is an emotional wreck. That's 2 shots of whiskey from crying herself to sleep again. Dangerously curious and hopelessly optimistic. Well, that sounds like me a little bit. My favorite character, Hadrian, is a notorious liar. And even that is an understatement. He would go all out boasting about how he slew thousands of goblins, fought and blinded an aboleth by himself, and how he could move mountains with his mind. Only to be the first who will wimp out of a situation if it looks remotely dangerous. Lying became so strongly a part of his persona that he even stopped a war with one. He also dodged being a sacrifice by lying about being a longtime lover of a crazy cultist leader's daughter. So yeah, most of the time his lies only bring more harm than good, but oh well, his dear companions are always kind enough to drag him out of the bullshit he caused. My plasmoid Sorlock Morgana McLaughlin has a little idea of who or what she is, or who or what she was. She is also relying on what memories she currently has and must let her mind regain them organically. She can't force anything. This one's a little dark, but it's the only one I can think of at the moment. Black Parade. My Shadowrun Technomancer is too aware of his place in the world. He knows that in the shadows you're more likely to wind up dead than paid, and the things he has seen and been through has given him a sort of, if I die, at least it'll be on my terms attitude. Towards death, of course. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't know anyone who does. But if he has to die to get something done, to get the crew out of a scenario, to make a worthless point to the society that he exists within, sure, why not? BP only really started thinking that maybe this mindset wasn't the healthiest mindset to have after he almost set off a hydrogen bomb just so a megacorp, which was killing technomancers to make new cyber decks, would have to start all the way from scratch. I'm playing a character who, at the beginning, saw herself as a horrible, unlovable monster because of an error she believes she made. She believed the world would be better off if she were to die and would often sometimes call herself scum. A combination of the need to help and not being much of a forward thinker has bitten me a few times. The pain of being a good but low int character. For example, group of orphans being indoctrinated by a cult of Asmodeus. Bust them out and kill the cultists. Okay, but now you've got a group of about 10 scared and crying children that you have no real safe place to take them. Guards hear these crying kids and try to figure out what in the 9 hells is going on. You explain to them that you are trying to save them from devil worshippers. You forgot Asmodeus is one of the widely worshipped figures in this nation, so the guards think you murdered legal worshippers of a deity, though low rolls are partly to blame for that one as well. DM is letting you escape without combat? Of course, you don't want to kill the guards. But even though you are now in a nation where worshippers of Asmodeus don't really have any sway, you now have a bounty on your head and have bounty hunters coming after you. This was also one of those moments where role-playing also kind of bites you as well because since, well, I knew this probably wouldn't end well, my character obviously did not. And since this was part of a one-on-one session 0 type deal, there wasn't anyone to talk my character down or suggest a smarter course of action. My second character had a basic backstory of Ariel from Little Mermaid. Born in an isolated town, got hooked on trinkets from the outside world, broke a taboo, and got banished. Okay, maybe not 100% Ariel, but I gave her 2 flaws. The first was her curiosity. She has split from the party to explore the DM setting and meet a couple NPCs. This actually led to us getting an audience with the king and personally reporting a dangerous cult's activities to him. She also met an undercover anti-cult warrior who directed us to a caravan suspected of smuggling. But on the other hand, there was the time where she got majorly distracted by entering a Tinker toy shop. If the bard didn't find her and hold her back, her wallet would have been even emptier. The second is her -1 to wisdom. I decided to roleplay this as she will make mistakes once. Her first big mistake was using Giant's Might inside a cottage. Oh god. I gave her 1d4 bludgeoning damage from her head hitting the rafters. Then the party found a huge great axe 3d12 slashing, and only she could wield it. Extra attack, Giant's Might bonus damage, and action surge was awesome. No enlarged damage, of course. The DM and I agreed that the spell didn't affect the axe. But I kept track of the time. 1 minute after using both Giant's Might and Enlarge, she shrunk from huge to small, and I gave her 1d12 bludgeoning damage from the axe landing on her. And of course, she definitely trusted a few figures she shouldn't have. And now she knows how to shake hands to identify disguised Rakashashashashashashashah. My druid, Daichi, was raised from the age of 4 in the Feywild. Because of this, he views the world very differently than most mortals. Normally he acts normal, but then sometimes his upbringing will rise to the surface and he will go about solving a problem in a completely insane, by regular standards, way. I'm currently playing a Kenku rogue, and his backstory is that he loved nature, always used to just chill with animals and such, but one day he just got captured and experimented on. He escaped somehow, found himself in Neverwinter, and just got a job from an organization as a cleaner to take loot and clean up bodies whenever somebody died. Anyway, his greatest flaw is, whenever possible, since being captured, he will always climb a tree to get that feeling of pure freedom before he was captured. Aw, that's kind of sad. Grog, glass half full, hates holes. Grog is a reoccurring character of mine. He is a bugbear raised by dwarves with his own weird sense of honor. One game he failed 2 deck saves and fell into a pit trap. I roleplayed a pissed Grog who ended up hunting down the person who dug the hole and killed him. Now the rest of the party like to manipulate Grog by lying about who dug the hole. I mean, at this point, you're gonna get him to kill a lot of people. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, to ring that bell, and to share. We're almost at 200,000 subs. And, of course, if you have a comment to share, please do so. You can do a character flaw. I would love to read all of your character flaws, the big ones, little ones, happy ones, bad ones. And, of course, as always, I just want to end things by saying the year is almost at an end. There's a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of happy, and a lot of sad going on in the world. And I know a lot of you might be kind of lonely towards the end of the year, and I feel that. I do. But I love you all. From the bottom of my heart, you're not alone. We're always here to make you laugh and smile, and by God, every day I am excited to read a new set of stories because I know I can bring a lot to all of you who need it the most. So to that end, I hope all of you had a happy holidays, and I hope that soon, as the year comes to a close, well, you feel a little bit happier and more optimistic about 2023. Be safe, be happy, and stay warm out there.